Buterevu oli ku BBS telefine yaffe ey'Obwakabaka wa Buganda nga Ssaabasajja Kabaka wa Buganda bwe yasiima abaana abali mu luwummula olutali lweyagalire bw'atyo n'asalawo babeere nga bafuna okusomesebwa okw'enjawulo ate nga bali mu ddiiro ewaka ewaabwe kubeera tebaagala baana kutaayaaya olw'embeera eno eriwo eya coronavirus ate n'obulwadde bwa COVID-19. Ku ssaawa eno olunaku olwaleero era tugenda kuddamu okusoma nate nga tulina omusomesa agenda okuba nga atutwala mu lulimi Olungereza okuva ku Green Academy era nga olunaku olwaleero tugenda kwongera kutambula n'ensonga eri eyabadde olunaku lw'eggulo twasomye ku nteekateeka ya letter writing mu lulimi Olungereza n'omusomesa Kibuuka okuva eri Kisubi Savio. Olunaku olwaleero ono ava ku Green Academy mukulu Kiri yagenda okuba nga atutwala naye nga tunabagenda Buterevu gyali njagala okutegeeza nti banaffe aba Maryland High School Entebbe essomero eryo lya senior era lirina abaana okusomesa abaana okuva mu senior 1 ate paka senior ey'omukaaga era erimu ku masomero agasinga okukola ddala obulungi. Baagala okutegeeza nti gwe ayagala okukwatagana nabo mu nsonga z'ebyenjigiriza, ayagala okuba nti obawa omwana, ayagala omwana asomere mu ssomero eddungi, abeere ng'omwana yenna empisa, eddiini ate era n'okuyiga okulamba omwana ave ku ssomero nga ddala mulamba amanyi ebyokusoma ebya academics ate era n'ebyemizannyo mu nteekateeka eno. Amasomo gano olina okugakwata kubanga weetaaga essomero eddungi. 077241086 ne 077244368 ate ne 07775 2747 osobola kubirako esimu noyogerako n'abakulu abatwala essomero eryo ate ne baba nga basobola okuyamba Buterevu. Mukulu Kiri yatuuse dda agenda tutwala mu luzungu olunaku olwaleero twamanya empandiika y'ebbaluwa oba letter writing naddala ebbaluwa gy'oyinza ogamba nti ntongole oba eri official ng'olina omuntu gw'owandiikira olw'ensonga yonna. Olunaku olwaleero tugenda ate mu creative writing omukulu ono wali okubanga atutwala mu ssomero. Nkakasa nti abaana mwabategeeza dda okutuula mu kiraasi ne bafuna empapula ne kalamu oba ne peeni okuwuliriza obulungi essomo lino ery'olunaku olwaleero. Mukulu w'Ekiri tukwaniriza Buterevu abaana batudde mu ddiiro bakuwuliriza era balindiridde okuba nti basoma olunaku olwaleero.
Webale nnyo ssebo. Thank you for this opportunity okuba nti our children who are at home, we give them the opportunity to have learning continued. We request that the children during this class, I want to request my children, sit, you are not watching, just sit in a lesson. We are in a lesson, so I request you to sit, have all the materials that you are going to use, because we are going to learn. And we are referring to the aspects we covered yesterday and those that we have been covering in school. And one of them, which I'm focusing on today, is letter writing. Yesterday you did part of it, but we want to make sure that we completely understand it, so that when we go back to school, being that these are the topics we have just covered, we really get very good marks out of these aspects. The reason we are emphasizing creative writing is that some of us have given it low attention, very little attention, that we do not want it right. We do not want to apply it in the daily life experiences. So what I want us to focus on today is to see how do we uplift ourselves such that if any question came from anywhere, we can answer it very well and get outstanding marks, outstanding grades out of it, especially when we are seated at home. I know we shouldn't miss school. So this is a great opportunity for you children to make sure that you get the very best. Just make sure you have everything and you get all that we are going to go through. Now, the first one, the reason I've chosen this, we must make sure that any question that is going to be given to us, we get usually the question given will be out of 10. Any examiner or anybody who is giving you an item will give you an item, a question in section B, which requires you to get 10 marks out of it. So if you have not prepared very well, then you may lose out on these marks. And we don't want to miss any. Now, these are the instructions for the lesson. The first one, I said sit, do not watch, sit and attend a lesson. That is the first one. Secondly, have all your writing materials. Thirdly, make sure you note down everything that we are going to learn during this time. I wish you nice viewing. Now, the first one, we looked at the informal, or call it a friendly. A friendly letter. And we are still beginning with this. We are making a summary of what we have been covering. So make sure you have everything. And if there is a question you are going to ask, let it come after. We have covered the topic. Now, in this, I want to expose you to two questions. Because in most cases, we shall be asked these questions when we go back to class. And one of them is, when responding to the questions, one has to be very fluent at both writing and speech if you must score highly. If one must be very good at creative writing, then one has to interpret the task which has been given to them. That is the first thing. You must interpret the question. What is it like? I want us to move and look at what is it that one may give us and how best can we get very good marks out of it. One, there will be somebody may give you a question like this one. Write a letter to your friend requesting for some books. Write a letter to your friend requesting for some books because you have not been attending school. You have not been attending school. Write and ask him for the books where they wrote the work, such that you can also cover this work. Now, in most cases, some of us wake up and you simply write. You do not have guidelines. And this is why we are emphasizing this creative writing. The first one, if you must respond to this question, the first one must be, how do I plan? The first thing is to plan. You must plan your work. You identify which type of task have I been given. In this case, it is an informal letter. You covered this in P5. You are also covering this in P7. I know most of us in schools who have finished it. And now we have also started on the formal letter. But let's first begin with this one, then we shall cover up all of them. Now, in your plan, if you must write a very good letter, anybody who is going to give you marks will focus on the following aspects. So as you are writing, note everything. So that at the end of it all, we now look at what is it that we must use to get these very good marks. One, a good letter must have an address. You must have an address. What is that address like? Now, the address has three major aspects. The address has three major aspects. The first one is the location. The location. The first one is the location, where you stay or where you live, where you are. That is the first one. Now, in this, you must know, how do I phrase? How do I come up with my address? How do I start to make an address? One, we said you must know your location. Where are you? Am I in Mengo? Am I in Chibuli? Am I in Kampala, in Bweyogerere? So your address must begin with your location. And in this location, we have three things you must consider. One of them could be a village. It might be a village where you are living. It could be an institution. It could be an institution. It may be a building. It may be a building. If you are living on Kampala Plaza or you live on Masengere Plaza, anything where you are living. Then the next one or the last one could be a street. So I want you to note this, that as I form my address, I must have a location. Where am I located? I'm in Chaliwajjala village. I am at Mengo Primary School. That is for the institution. Or I live at a certain building, so you mention it. Then the next one could be a street, Wampeo Avenue. That is the first aspect of your letter. Then the next one, in an address, you also have what we call this is number one. Then number two, you must have the post office box number. The post office box number. That is very important. When you look at the screen, you will see, after the place, Kabaka Njagala Road, plot 5. That is where that person lives. Then you have the box number. Some children sometimes make mistakes and say PO box dash. That is very unacceptable. You must use a box number. Then we say PO box 221, where? Kampala. Now Kampala is the third one. That is your postal town. That is your postal town. The postal town may not be the district. Could be any place where you receive your letters. So Kabaka Njagala Road, PO Box, Kabaka Njagala Road, plot 5, PO Box 221, Kampala. That is now a full address. And if anybody is to give you a mark, that is a full mark, because you have comprehensively attempted that aspect of the letter. Then the next one, which you must not miss out, is the aspect of the date. And this date should be the date when you have written this letter. We do not want our fellow children to do, our friends to do, write dates which are not of that very time when you are writing. Write your letter with the date at the time when you are writing. Because the essence of the date is that you show when the letter was written. So for today, Wednesday, which is the day, you have a comma, March 25th, which is the month and the date, then 2020, which is the year. Now, my friends, I want to tell you, the date must have all those three aspects. It must have all those three aspects. If you decided to begin with the day, then the month and the date when it has been written must be there. Then you follow it with the year. That is complete. That is another mark. And the next one, you will go to what we call the salutation now. Your salutation. How do you start? To introduce, to greet the people that you are writing to. Not simply to start, I'm writing to ask you for this and this, being so demanding without courtesy. So with this, I want you to start with the salutation. And that is what we see as Dear Joel. If that is what I'm writing to. Dear Joel, what is it that I'm writing now? I start with a simple greeting, if it is a friendly letter or an informal letter. You start with a simple greeting. How is everybody at home? How are you nowadays, depending on what you are addressing? Then the next one will be, on my side, you get back to your side. On my side, I am getting better after a long illness. If you have been sick, it may not be the case. But if you have been sick, then you show the side where you are coming from. I am writing to inform you. Now we have gone to the purpose. I am writing to inform you that I had terrible malaria, so I could not attend school for the past 2 days. Then, what is coming next? I request you to assist me with the work you did when I was away. I request you to assist me with the work you did when I was away. I would like you to give me, you now specify, mention exactly what you want. I would like you to assist me with the social studies notes, science class workbooks, and the work you have covered in English and mathematics. Because you should not simply say, I want you to assist me with work. The person who receives this letter may not know exactly what you're talking about. So go into the depth and put exactly what you want this person to give you. How do you want to get these materials? In our question, if you look at the question, we said, suggest the way you are going to get this work. And now here I say, I suggest that you prepare these books so that I can send one of my brothers to get them on Saturday this week. Because the question had, show when you are going to get the work. Show who is going to get it for you. So you attempt the question depending on the needs in it. Who is going to pick the books? My brother. So I'm answering that question. My brother will come and pick these books when? On Saturday. Then the question also asked us, what is it that you promise? Are you going to take good care of the books? Yes, I promise to take good care of your books, and I will return them as soon as I complete writing the work or copying my notes. What is the other thing that the question required you to do? I advise you to take care of your lives as a family and always listen to your parents, especially at this time. Now, if you have gone through that question very well, the task was, in the question, the task was write and ask your neighbor, your friend who you study with, for books that you have been, for the books, the work they have been doing when you are not in school. Then, what is the last one? Send my regards to all your family members. That could be a closing remark. Then, your loving friend, Mokasa Peter. In this, we sign out with the name, but each of them beginning with a capital letter, but in small letters. So I want my good children to take note of this, that when a question of that nature comes, we really make sure we get the very good marks. And also have the interest to see, where do I lose out? What have I left out? For this type of writing, you can check yourself. And you say, yes, yesterday we had the same. We went through letters. Today we are summarizing. What is it that I must not lose out according to the way the teachers have explained? Then you go through your letter now. But there are also other things I don't want you to forget. There are other things I don't want you to forget. And one of them is the language. And I want you to note this. The language which you are going to use. One, how do I flow? How do I choose the words? Who am I writing to? Then it will determine the choice of words I'm using. Then, how do I punctuate my work? So there are other language aspects. I want you to note them down. Put down language aspects, which you must consider. The language aspects. One is the paragraphing. The first one will be paragraphing. You must paragraph your work. So as you plan the paragraphs. The next one, you must punctuate your work very well. You must punctuate your work very well. As you write the sentences, then you make sure I have put all the necessary punctuation marks, all the speech marks in their right places, so the person who marks gets the very best of my fluency, and they give me the very best of my marks. Then, you should also consider the tense. The tense. What tense are you using? Check yourself. When are you writing? I'm writing this letter to request you for some books. Not, I have written this letter to request for some books, then when you sent them, you are mixing up a number of things. So let the flow be very clear. Then the next one is the issue. So here we said paragraphs. Paragraphs. Then you also have the punctuation. Then we have the third one as the spelling. The spelling, and I request that you use a dictionary. Since this is not an examination, activities done at home, we can refer to a number of references. So use your dictionary to look up the spellings of some of the vocabulary you want to apply in your letter. Then the last one on this is, the handwriting. The handwriting. You make sure all that you have written is readable. Can people read what I have written? Do I have work which is not clear, so I can maybe cross out and write it very well for somebody who is going to read it? Say that whoever is reading, the letter flows, the work flows, and you can really say, you know, I get the very best out of this. Then after this, I want to take you back to the question, and we see, have we answered the question? Let's go back to the question. Question 1, which was our task. The first question, which says, your friend, you have not been attending school. The first question. When you got the screen, let's move down. The question number 1. Question 1. Yes. Now, the question says, you have not attended school for a period of 2 weeks now. Write a letter to your friend informing him or her the reason you have not been attending school. Request him or her to assist you with the books or the work you covered when you were away. Suggest how and when you can get that work. Promise that you will take good care of his books, and then you will return them as soon as you have completed copying the notes. Do not forget to advise your friend to take great care of their lives, and to always listen to their parents. Now, after I've done all the writing, I come back here and I say, let me check myself. What have I left out? The key ideas in each of the lines. In the first one, we said, you have not attended the school. Yes, what is the key aspect? Writing to my friend, explaining the reason. So the reason is very important. I must highlight. You check your letter now. If you are listening, you make sure you have that aspect. In my letters I write, do I show that I was away and there is a reason? Yes. For our friend who has written this one, we are saying, the person was away because they were sick. He was sick, so he did not attend. So that is the reason. The second one, request him to assist you with the work. Have I answered the question? Yes. In one of the paragraphs we have seen, I request you for the work, or I request you to send me the work which you did when I was away. At a certain point, they also say, promise that you will take good care of the books. And we saw in the letter, I will take good care of these books, and I will return them as soon as I complete them, copying the notes. That is very good. So we make sure whatever has been given in the question has been attended to. Then, do not forget to advise your friends or your friend to take great care of their lives, and to always listen to their parents. The letter also addressed this. So now you are checking. You go through. Look at the question. look at the answer or your response and note. Have I attended to this? You got the question and underline those key areas. Underline. Have I attended to this? Have I attended to this? Have I attended to this? Yes. There you get all the marks. And this is very important that as we are at home, we can now do a lot of practice. You can even decide to write a letter to your parents on a daily basis. And the mommy or daddy will check. But we said make a plan. Make a plan. So in your plan, do not forget that of the task. Reading the questions and interpreting it very well. Then identifying the type of letter. Then the address, we have said that. Then the location will have the three aspects. The village, could be the institution, could be the street, could be the building, or any other aspect. Starting. Then the box number and the postal town. Then the date, we said write the date when you are writing your letter. Like today, as you are seated watching, write, if you must write your letter, put today's date. Then the salutation. And that one we are beginning with, dear the friend. Who is that? Dear Joel. Moving on, in your letter you saw, we must have paragraphs. Those divisions. And these paragraphs will show the person what item are you dealing with. Like we said, asking for books. Then you had advising the friend. You also had promising to take care of the books. So each of these can't be in one bulk. So you make sure every aspect which is different from the other is in its own paragraph. That's why I said in body 1, you usually initiate by greeting. You have an introduction, and then, like we explained, I was sick, so I did not attend school. The next one, you go to body 2. Have the second one, which I'm calling body 2. That is now the reason. In body 2, you are explaining the reason you did not attend school and what exactly you want this person to help you with. Then, after that, there is an issue of promising. That one goes into the third paragraph. So you make a third paragraph of what is it that I'm going to talk about now. When I have finished writing my notes, I will bring the books back so the person is sure that they are not going to lose them. Then you have a conclusion, and then we said the name in lowercase or in small letters. You did this in P5. For those who are in P7, you did this in P5, and then we've revisited it this term when you came back to school. And now that we are at home, we need to do a lot of practice in this, that in case this question came in the examination, is end of the exams you are going to do, you get 10 out of 10. I call these free marks. We are now moving to the last question, and I want you to pay attention to this. So, task 2. I want everybody to move to task 2. Write and say task 2 in your book. And I want us to go through this question. When you look at this question, this time we shall make a very quick summary. You fought in class while your teacher was away, which you have always done. When the teachers leave classes, everybody takes their shape. They start jumping up and down. When he was called in, he took you to the head teacher, who decided that you get suspended from school for 2 weeks. And he also asked you to return with your parents. Write a letter to him apologizing for what you did and explain how it happened. And promise not to do it again. We also say, also give a reason why your parents may not come, as the head teacher had suggested. Now, we are using the same approach, but as you discussed yesterday with the teacher, we looked at a formal letter, and this is now a different one, which is an apology. And we want to see, how do we go about this question? That is the task you have to answer or to write an apology letter to the teacher. And the plan now. How do we plan? This one, unlike the first one, in our plan we have the key aspects a little different, but most of the other ones also appearing. Now, the first one, we still go to the type of letter. That is very important, and I want to emphasize it. For a candidate to understand the task which has been given, they need to know, what am I going to answer? Not simply to start, because there is a mark for style. If you miss out and you write a friendly letter like the one we have been looking at, when they actually require a formal letter, you lose out the marks for style. What type of letter have you written? You have mixed up the aspects. So here we want to be very steady, and I want you to pay attention. Now, the first one, we said type of letter. Formal, call it official, call it business letter. And the second aspect will be the address. And as we said, the address still will have the three aspects. One, the location. Two, the post office box number. Three, the postal town where you receive your letters. Then the date, I've already explained that in the previous letter, it comes back. Now, the area which we must include here, and we must draw a lot of attention to, is number 4. The receiver's address, or call it the addressee's address, or call it the address of the person who is going to get the letter. That one is something we are adding to this type of letter. Who are you writing to? And that is very important in determining your language as you flow. After that, we have the salutation. In this case, the other one we said, Dear Joel. This is very official. Dear sir, dear madam. Such that you show respect to the person you are addressing. The next one is the reference, or call it the subject line. That topic. What are you writing? What is the reason you are writing? So the subject line is also very important in this type of letter. Those ones were not in the first one. Then again, we go back to body 1, body 2, and body 3. Those are the paragraphs according to your packages, the way you have decided to package your ideas as per the question, which you are going to look at. Then the conclusion, and then you will have the closure. This time, we have also a signature. You sign, and then the name in capital letters. And the signature part, I want to tell you, my children, don't sign with the signatures which you have not confirmed. The best way, let's write the name in lowercase, but each of them beginning with a capital letter, and then we shall write the name in capital letters. And sometimes they will ask you for a title. You are the class prefect in your class, and the children fought in the absence of the teacher. Write a letter explaining what happened. Now, here you will need to put your title. After your name in capital letters, then you say class prefect. Your big title should come there now. Now, we want to look at how we approach this in response to the question. And as I told you, be noting. You note, have we answered this? Have we catered for this? Have we catered for this? Have we also looked at this one? And then we see how do we get the marks in total. Now, the first one, I'm giving you a sample here. And it says, my address. The first line is the location. And I want to take serious note of this. The second one is the post office box number. The next one is the postal town. Mengo Primary School, P.O. Box 21, Kampala. Location, post office box number, then the postal town. Then date, as we wrote it in the other one. Because we are within the same day, so we are taking the same date. Now, the essence of this date, you see, we said to show when the letter has been written. But also, I want you to note the punctuation is 1, Wednesday. That is one of the aspects. It is a day. So we separate it from the date. That's the reason the comma is there. The second one, March 25th. That is the date of the month. So they go together. So there is a comma. That is the second aspect of the date. The last one is the year. It is the reason we have those two commas. To show the day, separate from the date, which is the month and the date, and then the year. Now, the next one, which was not in the other letter, is the receiver's address. Who are you writing to? Who are you writing to? You are writing to the head teacher, because the instruction said, write to the head teacher. So which head teacher? Of my school. The head teacher, Mengo Primary School, Kampala. I can even include the box number. Then, dear sir, that is being polite. What is it? Reference or subject or reason. Apology for fighting in class. What happened? In the question they said, explain. Explain what happened. Let's begin. I am writing to apologize for fighting in class. That is the reason. You hit the question right away. There is no greeting, there is no any other story here. What happened? I did not intend, but it was out of anger. How did it come about? As we were revising science in our groups, Opio made fun of me that I am Mr. Mango. This made the children to start calling me Mr. Mango and laughing at me. I tried to warn him, but he insisted that it was my name because my head looks like a mango. I got annoyed and gave him a blow, and then the fight started. So this is how you develop. The question says, explain what happened. That is what happened. Now, what is the next one? The head teacher at a certain point said, go back home. Do not attend classes. Do not attend classes. So you will come back with your parents, and then that is actually after 2 weeks. Now, this child must go ahead. You must go ahead and say, what is it about your parents? Are they at home? For this particular case, we are saying, currently, my parents are not at home or are out of the country, so they cannot come to school, but I promise to tell them when they come back or when they return. You are responding to the other question. Come with your parents. We are saying they are not there, which you have already said. But when they are there, please make sure you come with the parent. Then, what is the other task? The last one. The last task was request that the headmaster allows you back into class. So I say, I request that you allow me back in class so that I do not miss lessons as you had promised or as you had said. Please forgive me. I will be grateful if you forgive me, sir. Now, one thing I want you to observe, that in this type of letter, there is a lot of humility. Because you had a case, you keep on hitting the subject, which is apology. Forgive me, I'm really very sorry, forgive me. Not to write about other things. Because what I know, somebody may write their own ideas which are not addressing this challenge. So, students, what I want you to do, let's focus so much on the questions that have been given to us. What is the task? Have I been in a position to interpret the question? After interpreting the question, do I know the type of letter that I must write? Then, what are the key or salient issues that I must underline? Actually, I advise you in such a question, you get a pencil and you underline. I must include this. I must include an explanation. I must include what happened. Yes, that is the explanation. Then I must include that my parents are out of the country or are not there, so they can't come. Then I must also include a request to go back to class, such that you do not miss lessons. Then, after that, we have the conclusion. I will be grateful if you forgive me, sir. Yours faithfully. That is the best closure for an official letter. And then the name in small letters, but each beginning with a capital letter, that is acting as your signature now. And then you write the name in big or capital letters. After you have done that, you now go back to your question. You now go back to your question and you check, was I in a position to answer this? Have I looked at this? Have I looked at this? Such that each of them in the question has been attended to. So when you look at such a task, you make sure you have comprehensively attended to it. Now, this is advice when we are at home. I request you to do a lot of practice in these areas. Assign yourselves questions, set a very nice question to yourself, or mommy or daddy or a sibling or a brother, anybody can set for your question, and then you make sure you attempt it. You attempt the question and then check. Out of the notes you have written, you now go through what you have written and see, can I see if I've attended to all the items in the question which have been given. Now, another thing that I want to advise you is to look for all the work you have been covering. All the work you have been covering right from your lower classes. Get all those notes and read. Schools have been closed, but the learning has not stopped. So let's learn even from home. Learning should be continuous. So go through all the work that has been given to us, read everything, and make sure you are better prepared for the examinations when we come back into school. The other thing I want to remind you is that use a lot of textbooks. Don't only read the notes. Use the textbooks. And each reference has different approaches so that you get all those ideas. Now, you also have, in particular for English, you also have an aspect of spellings, which let us down. Usually when we are writing, we have spelling challenges. So I want you to get your dictionaries and look up a number of words. On a daily basis, give yourself the vocabulary or words which you must look up. If you are lucky that you are 2 or 3 in a home, assign your friends or your siblings vocabulary that they must look up and also use them in their daily life. In addition to that, have a daily spelling list which you can even read to your parent. And I request that the parents have time to look at this. How far have I gone with today's work? So have a spelling list. I must cover the following spellings today. I must look up each of them. I must pronounce them following the dictionary guidelines. I must also write some sentences using this vocabulary. That one will make you a very outstanding student that even when you come to school, you have had enough coverage. You have revised a lot in the topics which you have done at home and those you did before. Then the other one, besides letter writing, we can also engage ourselves in writing articles, write stories, which are essays. In a day, if you write 1 on daily basis, by Friday you have written about 5. And then you give people to check. Let mommy check, let daddy check, let your friends also go through, those who are very close to you in the house, and they say, you know, here you have a challenge, but we can improve this. We can improve on this area. Then, for the parents, I want to advise that we have a timetable for these friends of ours. In school, what happens is we have a timetable that we follow from morning up to the evening when you come to pick them. Now, at home, if there is no timetable, these people are not going to do anything. They will read, but without showing accountability to what they have read. So I request that we have a timetable, very clear guidelines. Between morning and this break, you are going to read this. Between lunch and this, you are going to read this. From 2 o'clock up to this time, you are going to read this. And then at the end of the day, we have a recap and look at what has the person covered. What have we been able to cover in this day? And have I understood it? Yes. If I've understood, then tomorrow I get another task. And I want to wish you the very best and promise that next week we shall start on a new topic. And if you have any questions, you are going to write them down such that you send them. And next week as we start, we begin with those questions. So everybody who has been listening, make sure you write down all the questions you want to find out about this topic, so that next week when we start a new topic, you will get the answers to those questions. Above all, ensure that you are in the houses. Let the learning be in the houses. Listen to your parents so that we don't get into trouble. And then also follow the guidelines by the ministry such that we are safe. All that we are learning for is for our life. And if the life is not safe, we are not healthy, then the learning becomes useless. So let's ensure that we get the very best out of this break. I wish you a nice holiday.
Nzege Master Ekiri okuva wali ku Greenhill Academy ndowooza kakati buli ayiiya buli awandiika emboozi oluvannyuma lw'okuba ng'oweereddwa guidelines oba nga toweereddwa butereevu osobodde okutegeera obulungi gy'otandikira ate ne gy'okoma n'ebyo ebikulu bye batunuulira nga bagenda okukubuuza ebibuuzo. Embeera eno gye tulimu ey'okuba nti coronavirus ate n'obulwadde obwa COVID-19 bututawaanya tetugenda kulekeraawo okusoma kuba twagala abaana baffe wadde bali waka naddala abali mu P7 abali mu siniya ey'okuna ate era ne siniya ey'omukaaga babeere nga batambulira wamu ate n'ebyokusoma obataddeyo nga bino biwedde byonna ebiriwo babeere ng'era tebalina kyamaanyi nnyo kye bafiddwa. Tugenda kuwumulamu ate tukyagenda maaso n'enteekateeka BBC Fine yaffe nkujjukiza essomero bayita Maryland